photodetectors, that is the most important part of an optical receiver. So we first see the types. Actually, we have gone through the optical receiver introduction already, and we know that there are three types of photodetectors. Those are used in optical receivers. So the first one is p-n junction photodiode. It consists of a p layer deposited on an n-type substrate. When the diode is reverse biased, larger portion of the depletion region occupies the N layer around the junction, and due to smaller impurity concentration in the N layer. The electron hole pair constitutes an electric current called dark current by the reverse voltage. This photocurrent is due to minority carriers. The photons enter into the depletion zone, that is shown in the figure over here. The photons are entering into the depletion zone to produce electron hole pairs. If the light has energy quantum h nu greater than Eg is the forbidden gap energy, the electrons are attracted and drawn by positive terminal, while the holes are drawn by the negative terminal of the applied reverse biased voltage. These carriers produce an excess current over dark current. Higher the intensity, larger is the current. So effectively, this is the p-n junction photodiode, where we are talking about a simple p-n junction working as a photodiode. Normally what happens that there is a minority reverse saturation current that exists under reverse bias in a p-n junction, that we know. Ideally it happens. Ideally it should not, but practically it happens. So now if light is an incident on a p-n junction area, especially in the junction area, actually the depletion region area, basically the excess this light energy actually creates more electron hole pairs, which are finally again crossing the junction and are collected at the terminals, which produce a current which is above the reverse saturation current. The reverse saturation current in photodetectors is termed as dark current. So this is a basic p-n junction working as a photodiode. Why? Because photodetector basically is something, or a photodiode is something that takes in light and converts it to electrical signal. So any incident light is being converted to corresponding electric signal. That is why this is a photodetector, the basic kind of photodetector. Now we come to the next type, that is PIN photodiode, pin photodiode. Now it is especially developed for optical communication applications. The conversion efficiency of PN photodiode, the junction that we just studied, can be improved considerably by including a lightly doped or intrinsic N layer. The intrinsic, basically we are talking about, it's a PN diode only with an intrinsic layer sandwiched between P and N layers. Now intrinsic is just a relative term that we normally say. It is not in literally, we do not mean it's intrinsic. It is an N layer which is very lightly doped. Now this is placed between the two heavily doped N and P layers, and the large depletion region enhances the capture area of photons. So any light that is incident on the junction, now the depletion region is so wide, all the light that is falling can be captured and will be correspondingly converted to electrical current. So the capture area is increasing. So all the photons which could have spilled otherwise, if the junction is thin, the depletion region is thin, then some of the light may fall here and there and spill around, and that will not be converted into its corresponding electric current because it is not falling onto the junction area itself. So the conversion efficiency in that case will be low. But here, since the capture area is increasing because the depletion region is being expanded due to the intrinsic layer that has been uh, uh, sandwiched between the N and P layer, inserted into it, in a way that the entire depletion region becomes so large that the light falling upon it, there is very less probability that some of the light wouldn't be falling onto it and will not be converted. So the conversion efficiency is increasing in PIN photodiode as compared to PN photodiode. Now if you look at this structure, this is the heavily doped P and N, and this is the intrinsic, which is a lightly doped N region. And obviously this is covers almost the entire depletion region. So this is where the light is falling and is being captured. So we are saying the capture area is increasing basically. The presence of an electric field throughout the depletion region ensures the speedy movement of carriers. If you look at the electric field distribution with respect to the distance across the junction, uh, you see that the field is existing from P to N. It's slightly decreasing, but it exists. And any light that photon that is falling in creates electron hole pairs and will be correspondingly pulled. And due to the existence of this electric field, actually they will be little speeded up by the presence of the electric field. So the detector becomes fast in response. The linear relationship between optical input power and output electrical current can be achieved here, because the entire any light that is falling in will be converted. So there is a linear relationship, that is, the more intense light, the more high current will be produced. So it is a kind of a linear relation that can be achieved using PIN photodiode. So the third type comes avalanche photodiode, APDs. These are specially designed for optical communications and are preferred for long haul optical links where received signals are very weak. And APTs are a variation of PIN photodiodes. The device has internal gain by avalanche multiplication effect. This is one of the most important aspects of APDs. It has internal gain, which increases responsivity over PIN or PN photodiodes. It is basically used to measure radiations in the near ultraviolet, visible, and near infrared regions of the spectrum. The large electric field in the APD accelerates the primary charge carriers to cause avalanche breakdown. Now, just take a look at the structure itself. So, this is N and P. Then comes the entire this area that we are talking about. It is basically the depletion region that is being formed actually, and this is on the other end. This is P plus. So this is actually an intrinsic or low doping region only, which is forming the depletion region. So this is an extended, a kind of like in PIN we have 3 layers. Here we have 4 layers rather. Okay, and this the entire region is actually forming the depletion region. That is huge depletion region, plus we have a very highly doped P end on one side. So this particular junction over here immediately causes this internal gain region. This particular junction area forms the internal gain, because under reverse bias the accelerated or highly the particles with high kinetic energy come and collide with other atoms and displace more electrons, and that is how avalanche multiplication takes place. So here one more thing has to be kept in mind, that the diode is kept at a bias voltage near breakdown, just near breakdown. So as soon as any photon comes in and hits, there will be a huge current that is flowing, because due to the electron hole pairs that the photon creates will be collected immediately at the other end terminals, and that current will increase the breakdown, actually the current that is flowing. So automatically it is at the edge of breakdown already, so it will start the breakdown process itself. So there will be avalanche breakdown, and there will be huge current that is flowing across it. So it is kind of more sensitive, because any incident light will cause a huge current to flow. So it is kind of a detector which will any basic or a little trace of light also will cause current to flow. So but for this we need high biasing voltages, 300 to 400 volts, so that the high electric field is created. Now this high electric field causes the electrons and holes to accelerate and create additional electron hole pairs due to collisions. Carrier multiplication factors as large as 10 to the power 4 can be achieved by selection of proper materials and suitable engineering of the device. So how we create the device, the structure, how it has to be made, what kind of materials are being used. So this finally decides how much gain can be attained. So this is all about the 3 kinds of photodiodes, photodetectors we were talking about. PN junction, the basic one, although the communication deals with mostly with PIN and APD. So we'll go with the operating parameters of photodetectors in general. After the 3 types of photodetectors that we studied, there are the parameters that the operating parameters of photodetectors are: first, responsivity, R. We just came across it earlier, but it is defined as the ratio of photocurrent generated for unit incident optical power onto the detector. So it is R is equal to eta E lambda by Hc, and the unit is ampere per watt. So it is the ratio of photocurrent, since it's current, it is ampere, generated for unit incident optical power. The power is watt, so ampere per watt. Here, neta is the quantum efficiency. Quantum efficiency means it is the ratio of average number of electrons emitted to the average number of incident photons. So output to input ratio. But since it is quantum, we are talking about the number, current to the optical energy, but here we are talking about the quantum values. So current, the quantum of current is electrons, and the quantum of light energy is photons. So it will be number of electrons emitted to the number of incident photons on an average. So that is the quantum efficiency, and that is somehow related to the responsivity R. Next comes spectral response. So now spectral response is basically the variation of detector responsivity as a function of wavelength. How the detector responsivity changes to the different wavelengths. That plot is known as the spectral response. Third is gain. Now it is applicable only to the APTs, and it depends upon the material, what kind of material we are using. Fourth is speed of response, and it is limited by the following factors. Speed of response we understand because whenever we apply an input and the corresponding output that appears, there is a basic lapse of time. That lapse of time is basically known as the response time. The duration which is in between the application of an input and the corresponding output is response time. This response time, the speed of response, how much time will it take? The speed of response is basically limited by two things: the transit time and the time constant. What is transit time? That is the time taken by free charges to traverse the depletion region. That is known as transit time. And the second thing is time constant RC. Now tau, normally we say it is 1 upon RC. And how does it this R and C come in when we are talking just about a photodiode or a simple diode we are talking about? Then in that case we should know that in reverse bias, under reverse bias we have the resistance of the diode is large, and secondly there's the junction itself is a cause of capacitance. It serves as a parallel plate capacitor. So there is a junction capacitance as well as reverse resistance. So this R and C crop up to a time constant tau. So it arises due to the resistance and capacitance of the diode. So these basically limit the performance or the speed of response of the photodiode. And the fifth one and the last parameter is dark current, IP. Normally it is indicated by IP, and it is the current in the diode with a reverse bias and no incident light. And actually what I said was that analogous to the simple PN junction characteristics, reverse characteristics, we know that there is a reverse saturation current which is due to the flow of the minority carriers. It is basically the same current, but we call it dark current in terms of photodiode because dark means no light. So effectively we are just connecting it, because normally photodiode should have an output only when there is an incident light, but since it is being used in reverse bias, what happens is that there is a current flowing in spite of no incident light. So that is why we are calling it dark current. The reverse saturation current of a PN junction is simply called the dark current. Next is we should understand what is the drawbacks that are actually cropped up due to this dark current, existence of dark current. It contributes to internal noise because it is a current which is existing, which is actually not the due to the incident photons. So this is already there, persisting there. So it is an internal noise that exists, and it must be considered while we are designing the receiver, because it will exist, and we have to have the photons that are incident will create corresponding electron hole pairs which will be converted to current. That has to be more than the existing current, and that has to be taken into account, because the dark current should not be considered as the corresponding output current. That is why we are saying that we need to consider it. Now we come to the comparative performance of various detectors. As I said, that PIN and APT are basically the optical photo detectors that we talk about in optical communication. So we'll compare the various properties with respect to PIN and APT of different materials: silicon, germanium and indium gallium arsenide. Now If you look, the first property that we are talking about is wavelength range in nanometers. Pin is 400 to 100, 1100 nanometers, while APT is also 400 to 1100 nanometers in case of silicon. When the same diodes are made of germanium, then in that case it is 800 to 1800 for both the diodes. And for indium gallium arsenide, it is 900 to 1700, 900 to 1700. So when we are talking about of a material, if you look at this property, the wavelength range for both the diodes, depending upon the material, it is same. Second comes property comes responsivity. We talked about it. It is ampere per watts, the unit. So for silicon pin, it is 0.6, while APD is 77 to 130. You can see the responsivity of APD is huge as compared to pin diodes when it is made of silicon. Then for germanium, it is 0.6 to 0.7, again as in the case of silicon only. Pin diodes have the same almost range. Here APD, obviously the germanium made APD is 3 to 28, lesser than the silicon APD. And indium gallium arsenide, as far as it is concerned, it is 0.6 to 0.8. So it is almost of the same range for pin diodes. For APD, actually indium gallium arsenide, if we talk about it, it does not makes a significant responsivity does not matter over there, because APDs are usually not made of this material. Now next thing is quantum efficiency. That was somewhere related to responsivity. We talked about the quantum efficiency. So for pin photodiodes, it is 65 to 90, and APDs, we do not go by the quantum efficiency, because for all the three cases, if you see germanium, silicon, or indium gallium arsenide, we are not talking about quantum efficiency, because quantum efficiency is actually a measure of number of electrons created or generated to the incident number of photons. Now APDs do not work on that. Any number of photon, the number of electrons will be huge. That is because of the avalanche breakdown. So this quantum efficiency term does not hold for APD. That is why we are keeping it dashed or blank over here. For pin photodiodes, of course, it holds, and we can compare. For silicon, it is 65 to 90. Germanium, it drops to 50 to 55. And again, for indium gallium arsenide, it is 60 to 70. Almost of the same order. Then gain, obviously, gain is the property of APDs. For pin photodiodes, if you see, the gain is 1. That is, the input is output is equal to the input, so it is 1. But for APDs, it is 150 to 200 for silicon, 5 to 40 for germanium, so the gain is not much high for germanium, and 10 to 30 for indium gallium arsenide. So obviously if we compare, APDs have much higher gain when it is made of silicon. And then bias, that is a negative bias or reverse bias voltage requirements for the photodiodes. For silicon pin, it is 45 to 100. APDs made of silicon, it is 220 volts required, reverse bias. And for germanium, it is 6 to 10 volts for pin diode and 20 to 35 for APD, quite comparable. And for indium gallium arsenide, pin photodiodes require only 5 volts, negative 5 volts, and it is less than 30 volts for APDs. So that is the comparison that we are showing, what we need to how much voltages, bias voltages are required. Next comes dark current. Now dark current is dependent upon the material, so we don't we cannot say whether it is pin diode or APD, it does not matter. That is why the it is just divided material wise. It is 1 to 5 milliamperes, nanoamperes for silicon, 500 nanoamperes for germanium, and 10 nanoamperes for indium gallium arsenide. So it is quite high for germanium. So as a germanium, we won't say it is very good material as a photodiode for photodetectors actually. And the last thing is rise time. Rise time means we are talking about how much, that is the RC constant that we said. It decides upon the rise time, and rise time basically means the time taken by a device to reach its maximum performance, 90% of its performance from 10%. So 10% to 90% value of its performance, that the time taken to reach that is known as rise time. So it is mainly determined by the RC constant, time constant. It is 1 to 5 sorry, 0.5 nanoseconds for silicon as well as germanium, and 100 picoseconds for indium gallium arsenide. So it is quite fast for indium gallium arsenide. So this is all about the photodetectors, its operating parameters, and of course the comparisons. The types are discussed already in details as to what is their make, what is the electric field distribution across the diode, with respect to the diode, distance across the diode, or the thickness across the diode, the length of the diode actually. And the review questions is based on whatever we have been discussing right now. Explain the working of a PN junction photodiode. How is PIN photodiode different from PN junction photodiode? What is the speciality of APT? Where is APT? Where is APT preferred for operation? That is its applicability, the special applicability, specified applicability rather. Define responsivity and dark current. State the factors that limit the speed of response of photodetector. Compare the performance of silicon pin and silicon APT, and compare the performance of germanium pin and germanium APT. So we are just discussing the review questions. Go through the lecture again if you need to, and start answering the questions if you can. That will be a kind of summary that we have just discussed till now. So that is all. Thank you.